Hi there, how are you doing? This is our very first podcast episode. There's Sami and I gonna start this sequence of sharing with you all through this podcast media.
Do you want to introduce yourself first?
Sure. So my name is Jarvis Carr, and I have been in the IT and business industry for over 20, I don't know, 25, whatever years, and working as a director of enterprise architecture and data, and then on the side being helping a lot of small businesses and also a lot of charity organizations. For you?
I'm Soumya. I've been in this industry for over 20 years too, and I've been working with Jarvis in and out for about a decade now, more than a decade. We are very passionate about software, IT, just doing some, charity work, helping small businesses, always keeping ourselves busy. So that's us.
Okay, so this is our very first episode that in coordination of the releasing of a book that we just wrote. The title is what?
BVDLC,
BVDLC. What's that stand for?
Business Value Development Lifecycle.
All right.
What do you think it is?
I don't know. Since we wrote the book, we should probably know about that, right? So,
Yes.
talk a little bit about the history or the reason. It's not like we got nothing to do in our life. We have so much to do. But earlier we were talking about charity works that for the past few years, on and off, Sammy and I have been helping with some charity organization to solve some problem through the lens of people, process, technology, and a lot of time, a lot of charity organization need some technology help. So we help them sometimes from a hardware related and a lot of the time software. So we have been doing a lot of the coding and on the weekend once in a while. But a few years ago, what was this thing called AI started happening, and then we slowly tap into that on and off, and we just more and more feel like something is there. It is not a hype, it is transformative type of
It
thing.
is transformative in a way that it completely changes the process and thinking as how you need to build the software. That's where BVDLC started. BVDLC is not another STLC because it's the framework's core premise is reorienting the whole software lifecycle around the business value. And which is even extremely crucial in this AI world because I think we did a lot of vibe coding even in the probably 2 years around and things like that. When we were doing that for Charity Soft, many times we were producing the output faster, but we felt that it was not aligned and we had to go back and forth, and we felt like it is basically a time drain where what is happening, why can't we, we're building faster, but we are also spending a lot of time going back and understanding what we did, why is it not aligned, and things like that. So that's where this whole journey of discovering.
Right. Along that journey, we learn a lot about this thing, early stage prompting, prompt engineering, context engineering, all those kind of fancy thing, and then all the AI, LLM model continue to mature. We weathered from the very first one. I think we even start with before OpenAI released the first chatbot. We even looking at the Da Vinci and many of those older code. We were very early into this kind of thing that we feel like there's something to it. But as Sami mentioned, this vibe coding thing, maybe make a strong statement here, is entertaining. It's entertainment. So we learn a lot of lessons through the years, but one thing it didn't change us is that we strongly believe that there's a big play here. It's just how it's like Spider-Man, great power comes great responsibility. How we're going to harvest this great power in a responsible way, structural way, and methodical way. That is basically the seed for this idea of the book. And I think one day we took a walk, it's like, wow, there's so much that we learn, so much that we feel like this is we're onto something that at least we believe that we're onto something that we're thinking really provide good structure, giving our experience from enterprise architecture, working with at the corporate world for a long time, and also working for a lot of the small businesses and through charity works. We feel like this kind of knowledge can be very universal. It doesn't
Yes.
matter all the AI evolving changes, it's the structures, the process, and framework. So on that walk, it's like, well, why don't we write a book?
Yep. And this is not just for enterprises or small businesses or charity soft. My discovery was also during my, actually, my life is consumed with AI now. And whether it is my, educating my daughter or, finding some good like doctors for my parents or whatever, it all involves AI. I'm sure for all of you, it all involves AI. And sometimes it's pretty hard. Like I generally, as an enterprise architect, I don't take one AI's decision and then go with it because it's like naturally in my DNA. I basically try to go, okay, I did the research, now let me rub it up with another AI and go to another one. And every single AI that I talk to will have good answers, but it's not evidence-based. And it slightly make me think differently each time I talk with different AI. And then at the end, I would end up with a confusion which path I should take. And what I understood from there is that AI is good. AI is intelligent. It can give you answers that you want. But does it know you? Was the biggest, thing that I realized when I was communicating with back and forth with different AI. From the very early on, something that I really invested on is basically paying for ChatGPT, paying for Claude, paying for Perplexity. I early on, as I said, I'm an enterprise architect by heart, and I like to do ADRs. That means like getting technical architecture decision records. That's how I think, like pros and cons. Is this answer correct? Should I go there? All of that basically made me realize that there is one thing terribly missing from all this is that it doesn't know me. It doesn't have the context of where I'm coming from, what problem I'm trying to solve, and why am I trying to solve.
Right. So that is similar to another thing we talk about is like AI is like the most intelligent person just walk into a room, walk into a meetings, has no understanding who we are, what problem we try to solve, what's the boundary, what's the constraint, what's the context. Even though it's so intelligent but has no use. It can ramp up with something, but it won't be relevant. So this book, high level, we have three pillar and 6 phases. Without further going into the detail, at this point, what we believe is that with this framework and methodologies, you can solve that problem. That a very intelligent AI walk into a room will have a very quick and structured way to understand how to really help to deliver value. So therefore, it's the business value development life cycle.
Yes.
So it's a whole entire life cycle as a whole. Now we call it business value. We're also talking about this framework and structure. It doesn't have to be business, any value.
Any value you want to derive. And also BVDLC is for the broke who really want to leverage the value. Initially when we wrote about it, Jarvis, we thought it doesn't matter whether it is AI or not. But I think we cannot be naive. The even smallest mom and pop shop is thinking AI. And we have of course, BVDLC can be applied with or without AI, but most of our podcast is going to be helping organizations drive AI in a meaningful way, in a way that you can really derive the business value. And it also requires that you don't think AI as something that you will bring in your existing process, you will realize that it is basically you will have to change your process around AI.
Right.
And yes.
So when we talk about process and all these things we're talking about so far, I think just want to maybe level set a little bit. It's like why we write another book tied to AI, tied to methodology, because things exist already, like waterfall, agile, they all drive to produce value. And AI books left and right, why we duplicate this thing is to some degree we believe this whole effort is evergreen. The traditional process of agile and waterfall is great, but in the ever-growing, fast-moving AI world, we feel like there's a gap. But the gap is not huge. You just need to have some way to close that. Then we can take the best of the both world with some structural process and then good AI and ever-growing and changing evolution. How we can harvest and take advantage of this movement. So again, this is the first intro. We're gonna have a series of podcasts coming out. Each one of them will focus on a specific thing. But for the audience, get to this point, just in my mind, just think of one thing: is that why people even interested in this BVDLC, besides people who know us and want to see and hear what we're going to talk about, but how we would just say the value, why people want to even invest the time to listen to this.
Yes. So, and that we can answer by going, there are different kind of personas who's going to be benefiting from this. And there is something for each one of them. And the value is, even though value is the same, it is still different for each persona as you, let me rephrase that, right? Like, so if you look at an enterprise, like a mid or large size enterprise, this is for the CTOs and CIOs who are trying to figure out what is it in it for AI. And I think it's already something that we hear and see, that there is a change fatigue. There is always like some change every day, every night, something is changing on us. So for CIOs and CTOs, how to derive the business value is like, how do we make sure that there is just not pockets of productivity? How do we make sure that, I think at this point, everybody is using AI in the organizations, but is it reducing the cost? Is it reducing the business value?
Right.
There is not even a way to measure it. So you will be able to understand how to onboard AI, how to change your processes around AI, and how to measure AI. And this is very data-driven. Right. So that is for CIOs and CTOs. Do you want to talk about another person?
So basically that's how the book structure. We have several parts of the book. One part we dedicate to exactly what Sam talk about, this type of persona, decision maker, CIO, CTO, even CX, or whenever C-level. And then the next persona is the next level of the managerial planning, understand how that will work. And then another part we're talking about the technician to actually practice this. So with this book, we take it from the theory level, planning level persona, and then continue to progress down to all the way to technician. Okay, sounds good, but how do I practice? So those practice process, we offer our experience, and beside the book, we also have the website. The website has complementary resources, folders, and sample files, basically even like an operational guide. So the book is try to be a little bit more evergreen, but the website is things are changing, moving so fast. How can we still use the framework and structure, but then evolve into different formats? So persona, we cover 3 layers, and then the website will provide more practical guidance.
Yes. And beyond personas too, if you're ever wondering how roles are changing in an organization, how does it impact me? what is that I have to do to be relevant, and how can I be of value,
Right.
even like value from a personal perspective. How can I be of value, and how can I really make use of AI in such a way that it's fundamentally changing and shifting left. That kind of like not just persona, you will also be able to understand how and what needs to change, and how can you be productive, and how can you produce value, and how you can interact with AI, what needs to change personally for each of the roles.
Right.
And definitely SDLC was working for us. It was like a software development lifecycle, well and good. But now that AI can produce faster, I think now is the time we should focus on the business value. And the whole premise is that if you are able to drive AI properly with compounding context, which we'll talk broadly over the next podcast, you will be able to measure business value. You will be able to things that were not possible or changing rapidly with AI, and you really can think beyond just pockets of productivity.
Yep.
That's the whole premise of the book.
So maybe for this first one, maybe about time to wrap it up.
Yep.
So just know that, try to summarize that. Hopefully you hear a little bit about who we are, our journey, how we get started, to have with our little bit experience working with different organizations, mostly charity, when we work with AIs, and then at early stage, and getting to the point that we believe there's something we worthwhile to share, and to the point that we structured it in a book format, and looking forward to share with you more in the next few episodes. And please let us know any of your feedback. If you have any comments for each episode or our website or book, we'd love to hear from you, because this is a learning process. Hopefully what we learn is worthwhile.
Yep.
Yep.
Thank you.
So see you next time.
See you next time.